Welcome back to the Groomer Next Door. We have a special guest today. His name's KEITH Huskey. He's part of Shadowood Pet Resort. There's many amazing things that happen here at Shadowood. We have boarding for small and large breeds. There's grooming access here, and the most awesome part is that he has an amazing store to sell treats, dog food, all kinds of stuff made here in the U.S. And they're not grocery brand foods, so it's a little difficult to find, higher end dog foods that groceries just don't sell unless you're near a PetSmart or a Petco or any other large dog stores. Anywho, once again, I would like to introduce Mr. KEITH. KEITH, why don't you tell me a little bit about how you got started?
My wife and I have always had a love for dogs. When we first got married, I think the first major gift that we bought each other was a registered dog. And 5 years after we were married, we got interested in showing dogs. And we started showing in 1985. We started out with English Springer Spaniels and American Cockers, and showed all over the Midwest and the South. And then we graduated to English Setters. Long about 1987-88, we started showing English Setters pretty heavily, and showed them for several years. Now we're starting to change over to miniature dachshunds. We're planning on our later years, in our 50s and 60s and 70s. We still plan on showing, and a dachshund, a smaller breed of dog, is easier to handle, easier to groom, less to feed, less to take care of. So now we're showing the dachshunds. That love of dog shows and of the dogs themselves is what led us to open up Shadowood Pet Resort. A local vet here in Rolla, about 15 years ago, approached us and said, somebody in your area in Rolla needs to open up a professional boarding grooming facility. Rolla's lacking that. It doesn't have anything like that. And a lot of his clients were asking, and he had nowhere to send them. He knew us well. He was our vet. And we weren't interested at first. We turned him down for about a year. He kept bringing it up, and we kept saying, that's not really for us. Life changes happened. We had opportunities. We were both professional people, but opportunities came along. My wife thought it would be nice to be able to have more time with our children at home. We built a boarding facility, and it went over like the vet expected, but more than what we expected. We didn't expect it to be do as well as it did. We expanded again, and we expanded a fourth time. And during that expansion, we added the grooming, and then we added retail.
Yeah, it's really great when you first start out with just a small building and testing the water, putting your foot in the water, and then for so many people to love it here and continue to bring the pets here. I mean, you have quite a few repeating boarding customers, right?
We have a lot of repeating boarding customers. We're even into some of our customers second generation dogs.
Oh wow!
They've lost their first love dog, and now they've got the next generation, if you will. Some of them are the same breed of dog. Oh. Sometimes they go from a beagle to a bigger hound, or something like that. But yeah.
Well, you got the boarding going on, and obviously you hear me talk about grooming quite a bit. Since I do groom here, I am kind of partial, but all around I do love it here. Now, you have a really great little store going on here, which we're in the middle of remodeling. Keith's in the middle of it. I'm trying to open it up a little bit better, having a lot more products for customers to see, and give them another option of helping the dog's health along with the grooming and the boarding. What brands of food do you have here that aren't in grocery stores?
Well, we're the retail side of our business is the term that gets used a lot is dog boutique,
Yeah.
and we don't try to compete with the big box stores. Our products are definitely a specialized product, more of a pinpointed retail sale. There's only a small percentage of people in an area that will want to go to the route that we have as far as the foods and the treats and stuff like that. What we're really picky on is ingredients in the food and house process. Different companies. We have Nutrisource products. They have grain-free and then a meat and rice product. We also carry Taste of the Wild. We carry Nutro products, Premium Edge. All of these products are corn, wheat, and soy free.
And I also noticed too that if there's a particular dog food that people might want, you'll try your hardest to find it and carry it here.
Absolutely, and we've done that many times. We've got a bag on our shelves now that's rabbit and salmon. It's a new product. It's a lot higher than the rest of our products. I had a customer specifically request that brand and that type of food, and so yeah, we will do that.
We try to accommodate as much.
Try to accommodate, and that's something that a boutique or a small store like us can do that your big box stores don't and can't really offer,
or don't seem to really have the time to talk to us.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't have the expertise.
Yeah. Now you said that the foods are corn, grain, and soy free.
Right, corn, wheat, and soy free.
Okay. What perks are there for a dog to eat a food without those ingredients versus pedigree, Old Roy,
Sure.
Stuff like that?
Yeah, a lot of different reasons. The ones that the pet owner is going to notice the most is less stool in their backyard, less waste.
Why is that?
Corn and wheat is a filler. It's a carb. It causes, corn especially will cause loose stool. And when you concentrate more on meat rather than filler, your stools are firmer and smaller.
Yeah, because I also heard you mention earlier too how the food that you feed, the higher end food, as a dog's eating and digesting the food, it soaks up more of the nutrition. Right. Instead of just letting the corn and wheat just go right through them.
Absolutely. We're told as individuals, a lower carb diet is better for us. It's better for the dog too, and the cat. But corn and wheat are carbs. When they go into the body, they turn into sugar. Sugar turns into fat, and fat turns into a heavier and less healthy dog.
Right. I know also too that you mentioned just a minute ago that there are foods that you do carry that have rice. What are the good things about having some rice formula like lamb and rice or chicken and rice?
Right. Rice is a non-problem grain. It is used. All foods have to have a binding agent to make the food press and turn into kibble. A lot of the foods that use the corn and the wheat, that's why they're there, or the soy, that's why they're there. Your grain-free foods will use something like peas or potatoes to make it a binding. Your rice is a binding agent. It's a non-problem grain. It doesn't have any carbs to it as far as that goes. It's a very low-carb grain. It doesn't cause any problems. It doesn't cause infections in dogs like the corn would do. For example, corn is probably the worst grain that you can find in a dog food. It's not only is it a carbohydrate, a high carbohydrate, and it causes more and looser stools in a dog, but it causes yeast infections in dogs. Those yeast infections can pop up in the ears, and you as a groomer see a lot of that in the ears.
Yeah, see, I spoke about this in, I believe it was the second episode, and I mentioned how a dog can start out with a yeast infection in their ears, and they scratch their ears with their paw,
Right.
and then all of a sudden there's a yeast infection on their paw.
Right.
They go get the ears treated, and then all of a sudden the yeast infection sitting there on their paw goes right
Yes.
back to the ear. It's a
Yes.
vicious cycle.
Yes, we had and yeast infections can pop up on the skin too. Red blotches, hair that's falling out or whatever. People take their dog to the vet puts them on steroid shots, but and that's fine. I mean, it's helping the dog as far as comfort and all that. But all you're doing is masking the problem. You're not getting rid of the problem.
You're not preventing it.
You're
from
not
happening.
preventing. Yeah, you got to get to the source. And you got to get rid of the source that causes the infection. Does corn cause yeast infections in all dogs? No, yeah, but it does cause it in a fair amount of dogs. We had a Bichon a few years ago. Still comes here. You groomed the dog. That came in with terrible skin. I mean, it was red, balding skin in several spots, and this did not look well.
Yeah.
And the dog was on steroids, and the lady asked, is there anything, because we asked her about it, and she said, do you have any suggestions? And we suggested a salmon and rice food. The dog is still on that salmon and rice food today. Not a grain-free, but it is a corn, wheat, and soy-free. The dog has no skin problems and does not take steroid shots.
Yeah, see, even though you look at the bag of food, a premium bag of dog food, you might have a sticker shock. I know I did when I first saw it. I was like, wow, that could add up. But when you think about it, you give your dog the basic food from the grocery store. It costs you, I don't know, maybe $20 for a 40-pound bag. You're not taking account that you might have to be taking that dog to the vet for those steroid shots. So that's
Absolutely.
a vet visit and the shots. That's
right.
a cost each month that I know a ton of
Absolutely.
people have to deal with. Versus spending a little bit extra for the food and might be able to avoid this situation.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
And again, price per pound is how you really got to look at it, and how much you're feeding the dog. Maybe even break it down to price per cup fed. A lot of your foods your cheaper foods that are the $20 a bag, maybe up to as high as 28 or 30. They're 30-pound bags, maybe they're 40-pound bags, whatever. But you got to look at the price per pound or the price per cup on the food, and then you look at how much you're feeding the dog. And the better the food, the less in cups that you feed.
right, because they're taking in the nutrients that the food has to offer versus passing it
That's right.
with all these fillers and byproducts and so forth.
Right.
So that's a great point.
It's like putting your dog on a South Beach diet.
There you go.
Dog's going to be leaner and healthier.
And you notice their teeth will be healthier, ears, eyes. There are some joints supplements you can use or foods that will help for joints, skin and coat. I mean, there's so many amazing things that you can feed to help.
Absolutely. And then also, a lot of the foods, even your store-bought, your grocery store type foods, will add supplements to some of their foods. All the foods that we sell here are supplemented with a lot of vitamins and minerals, maybe glucosamine and chondroitin, for example. Maybe for omega-3 and omega-6 for the skin and coat.
Right.
But we have one of our products, Nutrisource Foods. They protonate their minerals, and what that does, that's a process, without getting technical, that's a process that they use to the amount of minerals and vitamins going into the product when it's cooked. For example, glucosamine, let's say they put 1.5 kilograms into the food. But when it bakes, if it's not done correctly, that drops way down.
Right.
So even though it says it on the bag that this is what's gone into the food, maybe that's not what's coming out after it's cooked. Kind of like you cooking a pot of green beans on the stove. The longer you cook them, they start losing their vitamins and their nutrients. Same way with the dog food.
So it's like it's okay for the different dog food carriers to put down on the bag, hey, look, we put this much protein in, but they don't have to be specific on how much protein leaves.
Exactly right. And a lot of your store, and again, and that's what USDA asks for, and then they do it the way they're asked to do it. That's the way our dog foods do it as well. Just the difference is one of our products does do the process of proteinating their minerals whenever they cook the food. You mentioned protein. You know, a lot of your store-bought foods get their protein. If you read on the back of the bag, it may say meat byproducts or chicken byproducts or something like that. That's not the meat of the animal or of the chicken.
Yeah, byproducts are just ground up leftovers.
Exactly
beaks,
right.
Feet, bones, it's just ground up gunk.
Yes.
I mean, did you want to sit down in front of your plate and have nothing but a pile of ground up chicken? Bones and beaks and feathers,
yeah.
Everything. No.
No.
I understand, you know, dogs are dogs. That's how it's going to be. Either you love your dog so much they become like a little child and you carry them everywhere, or you have a dog that is just that, a loving companion, part of your family.
Right.
But still, how much do you really want to feed them if you have a chance to feed them something a little bit better, something
Absolutely.
that will help prolong their life and help out during their lifespan?
Right. Look on the back of the bag, and whether you buy it at a store like us or at the grocery store, look on the back of the bag. Some keywords that are good. Meat meal. You know, it may say deboned chicken. It may say fresh chicken. It may say chicken meal. Any of those are okay. Chicken meal is nothing more than freeze-dried chicken, where all the moisture's been taken out. So actually, when it says meat meal or chicken meal, it's actually a higher content of the meat itself or the protein itself.
Well, that's good to hear.
That
So you want to stay away from chicken or meat byproducts and
Yes.
lean more towards the meat meal.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's really great to know. Other than big stores, definitely look at your boutiques, your dog boutiques, the smaller dog store. For one, you know, it helps out your community in general. It helps our economy altogether. Most of the high-end dog foods are American made. Ours
Right.
that we have here are made in the U.S., correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. All of our foods are made in the U.S. One of our companies has 3 plants. One's right here in Missouri. One on the West Coast, California, and one on the East Coast in South Carolina. Nutrisource products that we have is made in the Midwest, with a facility in Kansas City and a facility in Minnesota.
Okay.
And again, all of our products are USA made. Very important. Now then, with that said, some of the grocery store products may be made in the U.S., but the wheat may come from, and has in a lot of cases come from China. There's been, since we've been in business for the last 13 years, there's been 2 major incidents where the wheat in the dog food was tainted with arsenic or with lead, with poison, and it would kill the dogs. This past year, 2013, wasn't in dog food, but it was in dog treats. So it's not just the dog food, it can be the treats as well. Again, not just the fact that the wheat is a carb and it's not good for your dog, or the corn is not good for your dog, it causes yeast infections, whatever. But where does it come from? Is it coming from the American farmer who has a lot of strict regulations, or is it coming from overseas?
Yeah, that's a very good thing. When you go into the dog boutique or, you know, a smaller dog store, talk to the people, talk to the person who is selling you the dog food. Make sure they know what they're talking about. And if they seem confident in what they're saying, then that'd probably be a pretty good place to go. It'll be hard to go somewhere trying to ask about dog food and they really can't tell you because they're just there to sell it.
Absolutely. You know, a boutique like us, or a store like us, or grooming shop like us, boarding facility. We're not the big box stores. The owners of a business like us has usually got a background in the dog industry. No, we're not puppy breeders. We're not puppy mills.
Right.
We don't breed a mass amount of dogs.
Yeah, there is a definite difference between a pet breeder and a puppy mill. We'll cover that on a later episode.
Yeah, absolutely. My wife and I have shown dogs, like I'd said when we started, since '85. And we travel all over the country. Nutrition is one of the most important things. Nutrition and grooming. You've got to be at the top of your game on both of those.
Yeah, in grooming, a groomer can work some magic. They can be very finesse with the dog and be able to do stuff. A really good bath to help strip the oils away from the skin so they can cut the hair properly. But a groomer can only do so much. So if there's proper food being fed,
right,
then the groomer doesn't have to battle with an over-greasy dog that's flaky. You know, it's kind of weird when you get a dog. You can tell it's got dry skin, but it's completely oily at the same time.
That's right.
That's a product of lesser brand dog food.
That's right.
Now, I do want to ask, for the people who really can't afford the higher end stuff, but who love their dog dearly. You know, they love them, they want to do the best for them, but the bag of dog food's a little too much. Do you know of anything they might be able to add to the dog food? Like, I don't know, fish oil or something like that?
Salmon oil is available, and you can. But if you're adding salmon oil to a product that's got corn or wheat in it, it's like you're pouring something good over something bad.
Oh, okay, I see.
So again, the most important thing is to stay away from the store-bought ingredients of corn, wheat, and soy in a dog food.
Okay.
Does some of the big box stores have a good food? You'd have to check and see. Okay. We worry about what we sell here and having the knowledge of what we sell here, but. Yeah, we sell salmon oil. You can add the salmon oil to a product. Nature Vet is one of the products that we sell here, and they have a salmon oil that we sell, and you can add it to the food. You really get the benefit of that when you add it to already quality food. But again, quality. There's a wide range of quality foods, price-wise. We have foods here that's wheat, corn, and soy free that sell in the $32 to $33 range for a large bag of food, 33-pound bag. We also have a high quality food, rabbit and salmon, that sells for $60 a bag, and it's a 25-pound bag. So there's a wide range there in prices. And when you look at price per pound and how much you're supposed to feed that dog on a good food compared to a not so good food.
Yeah, see,
it may not cost more.
Yeah, you really got to look at it, analyze it, and it could be breaking even, or even if you are spending a few bucks more, look how much more healthier your pet is.
Right.
I do want to talk about treats. You do have a wide range of treats that are just as good as your dog food. What should you look for in treats?
Same thing. Again, stay away from the corn, wheat, and soy. In 2013, and the information is available on the internet, in 2013 there was a recall on a lot of different treats. I'm not into this to slam other companies or products, but you could find it online, the products that were recalled. But and again, those products had tainted wheat from China, and they were a treat that people were giving their dogs. At the time that I had looked at the information on the internet, and this would have been in September, October that I had looked at it, 600 plus pets died from tainted treats in 2013.
I knew there was a dog food recall. I wish I knew exactly what year it was, but this was back in my first part of my grooming experience, the first 5 years of my grooming. And I remember having to pull off all the dog food from the shelves.
Yeah.
And it was the lower end dog food.
Yeah.
A lot of the meat came from China area. But we ended up pulling off all the food. And what was nice and what makes me respect Nutro a lot is that Nutro pulled the bags too.
Yeah.
Now Nutro is a pretty good brand.
Yes, it is.
But they pulled the bags and they went and they looked at the testing and they looked at the testing for the date of expiration date.
Right.
That batch, if that batch is okay, or the expiration date of this batch, and they found out all their batches were fine.
Yeah.
So we put the food back up on the shelves. That really helped me respect Nutro.
Right.
And their treats are the same way. The treats are high quality.
Yeah.
Instead of buying a bag of pepperoni or a milk bone, go in and take a look at some of the other treats that the dogs actually might think that's even more tasty than the pepperonis or the milk bones and so forth.
Right.
We also have here too is greenies. What are the benefits of greenies?
Well, greenies along with a good hard treat is excellent for your dog's teeth. Mm-hmm. Greenies will help break down and clean the plaque off the teeth. A good hard bone will help that as well, but greenies is formulated to where it gets a thick residue that actually clings to the plaque, and it will help break it down. Crunchy treats are good for teeth cleaning for a dog. A dog in the wild, an animal in the wild. When they would kill and eat the animal, they would eat the whole animal. They would eat the meat, and after the meat was gone, the treats were the bones of the animal.
And bone marrow inside it too.
Absolutely. You get a lot of nutrition from the bone marrow. A lot of glucosamine and chondroitin in dog foods, people don't know this, but a lot of the glucosamine and chondroitin that are in dog foods are in there naturally, and it comes from the bone of the animal.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. So if it's chicken, or if it's beef, or if it's whatever, it's lamb.
Natural humor.
Yeah.
That's great. Definitely, people take a look around. Take a look at your dog food bag. See the ingredients. If you can't pronounce it, look it up. That's my biggest thing. If you cannot pronounce the word, look it up. Google it real quick. Get your iPhone or your iPad or just your phone out. Find out what that particular ingredient is for. Why do they have it there? And just take a look at what you need to, or what your dog's problems are. Well, like we covered already, if they're having skin issues or hair falling out.
Right.
I know a lot of double-coated dogs, like my Akita, they shed profusely. But with the good quality food, it's actually growing proper hair growth.
Good food will help the coat, inside out with the dog. Good quality nutrition, good food helps the coat and skin condition on the dog. And there's a lot of different varieties of. We have lamb, we have salmon, we have beef, we have chicken, we have rabbit, we have bison, different flavored or different meats in the food. Some dogs have allergies to foods, to certain meats, just like people do. Some dogs may be allergic to beef, or they may be allergic to chicken. You don't hear of chicken allergies that often, but they do have it. Lamb and bison are two of the foods that are really almost non-allergenic.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, again, you have to see what's the best. Even though they're all quality foods here that we sell at Shadowood, not every food is the quality food for your dog. There's going to be one specific food that's going to be better for your dog over maybe your neighbor's dog.
Well, what's great here at Shadowood, if you're in the Rolla area or you're going to be stopping through, some people have traveled from here to Waynesville or from St. Roberts up here. People travel quite a bit of ways for work. But if you're in the area, come on by. We do have different types of samples that you can take with you instead of saying, oh my gosh, I'm going to spend this money for this bag of food. I don't know if my dog's even going to like it. Come on in for a free bag of, a little small bag of
samples.
Of samples.
Absolutely. And again, we've got years of experience of hands-on, in the show ring, and we'll be glad to answer any questions on nutrition.
And if we don't know the question, if it's just so happened to be that one question we're not too sure of, we will find the answer.
Yes.
And we will get back to you. We all are human. We're not absolute know-it-alls of the food, but we do know the majority.
If we don't have the answer, our companies do.
Exactly.
That's
and
right.
we can find it out for you. Well, thanks for stopping by and listening on our episode number 5 with KEITH Huskey, if I can speak properly, of Shadowood Pet Resort. If you have any questions, or you didn't know that we're here and you need to get your dog boarded, or if you had more information or needed more information about the dog food, treats, the toys that we have here, or even grooming, just give us a call. Our phone number is 573-368-4866. Just give us a call. We'll be able to help you out. All right, everyone. Hope you have a good day. Is there any other extra things you want to add in?
No, I think we've covered all the bases.
All right. I think Keith and I can both let you guys know, life is short. Play with your pet.
That's right.